Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for registering and joining us today. We are going to get started on this special, short and sweet Mother's Day turbocharging your holiday webinar for members. So I hope you had a chance to read that blurb from the president or the former CEO of SAF about the training that we do. So let's get official. This is going to be the top 5 tips for an awesome Mother's Day. I am your presenter, Tim Huckabee, and I am very happy to have been invited by Flower Shop Network to share some of my skills and expertise with the member base. It's another benefit of being a member of Flower Shop Network. I realize that some of you maybe don't know who I am, so let me tell you very quickly about me. That's me, Tim Huckabee, president of Floral Strategies. I've been in the flower industry since the spring of 1993, so I'm coming up on my 27th anniversary. Actually, I think it's almost to the day. I worked at a very high-end flower shop in New York, learned all about the business, took that on the road, and for the past 23 years, I have been traveling the globe visiting flower shops. I have customers on 5 continents, big impressive stores like the flower shop in Harrods in London, Winston Flowers in Boston, but the majority of our customers are you. They're smaller flower shops. Many of them are just a one-person operation. But I'm very proud of the fact that I've worked with and trained nearly 7,000 flower shops since 1997. And we were looking at the records yesterday. We have 693 flower shop network members who have gone through our complete training program. And what I want to stress to you before we dive in and get to the core of what we're talking about today is that I'm independent. My company is independent. For whatever reason, I guess maybe because I've been around for so long, sometimes people think, oh, you're a part of Teleflora, or you belong to, aren't you a part of FTD, or don't you belong to this team or that association? Like you, I'm operating 100% independently. So I have your best interests at hand. So you're only going to get very neutral, business forward advice from me with no. We don't really owe anything to anybody. We like the people at Flower Shop Network. What they do is awesome, and we do a lot of work with them. All right. The reason we're gathering today is, and I was just chatting with Cindy from Flower Shop Network, that thankfully many of you saw a surprisingly good Easter. Even though it seems like the world is crashing in upon us, we had a great Easter. I talked to hundreds of flower shops who said they've had the best Easter they had in years. And we don't have time to dissect it now, but we are, fingers crossed, hopefully going to have that same dynamic at play at Mother's Day. All the more reason that we want to make sure that you're using the best business practices going into the holiday and really optimize this opportunity to help your customers and make sure that we're making better sales, we're making bigger sales. So we're going to go through what I consider to be the 5 best things that you can do quickly and easily to impact your holiday. And then we're going to talk also about a program that my company has to help the industry kind of move through this crisis, because we're very, very, very firmly in the belief that it's not going to be business as usual when we get back to business. Customers are going to have different expectations, different demands, different needs, and it's going to be the smart flower shops that are going to be aware of that and that have changed and adapted and adopted to that new horizon. I do want to remind you that as with all of our webinars that we do, this will be recorded, so you can play it again with your staff, or if you have a team member who wasn't able to join us live, so you get access to it. And I have Don from my office who's kind of lingering in the background. He's going to be helping us to field questions that you have and comments. And Don, you are at liberty as always to interrupt. If somebody has a question or a comment, feel free to just jump in and read it.
I just noticed, Tim, I cannot see questions. I'm in panelist mode.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Bear with me a second, Don.
I just noticed that.
Okay, and now you're golden. Thank you for letting me know. Now you can.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right. I feel like I did that all in one breath. All right, so let's jump in. Of these 5, okay, Don, just mute yourself. Okay. My number one piece of advice for you to make more money at Mother's Day is quite simply to spread the word. You know, you belong to Flower Shop Network, this amazing network of flower shops around the world that will enable you to get orders delivered for your customers. You've got to take advantage of that. You've got to play that up, and there's an opportunity to make money. So a couple of things here. First of all, part of your responsibility is to remind customers that you can do this. You know, even this far into the 20th century, it's amazing that customers don't realize that they can call you or visit you, or in this case, you know, go onto your website and get flowers delivered anywhere on the planet. So it's first and foremost an issue of education and educating customers through email, on your website, when you're talking to them by phone. And I've been doing that already, and I'll tell you about that in a couple of minutes. I get very, very frustrated. I can literally hear my blood pressure rise when I read or see in some of the Facebook groups florists who have this defeatist attitude. Oh, I don't know what that other shop is going to do. If a customer calls, I just Google it for them, or I just go on my FSN site and I give them the name of the shop. Why would a customer want to even come back if you're giving them a reason to stay at home and not engage with you? This is what they expect us to do. This is what they want us to do. They don't know how to order flowers. That's why they come to us. This is a service that you provide, so make sure that that service is available. Also, make sure that you're charging enough. I get into fights all the time with florists who would tell me, oh, I don't charge anything, or I charge $2 or $3. FYI, if you go on to any of the order gatherer sites and all of those websites from the wire services that are, you know, who are going directly at your customers and advertising to the public, if you go through the steps, you will see sometimes it's more obvious, sometimes it's hidden, but you're paying a service fee. And $10 is a minimum as a national standard. You could charge more. I don't want to get greedy, but I want you to look at this as a revenue stream for this holiday and the upcoming holidays. On a side note, we produced a webinar a couple of years ago called Wealth from Wire Outs. I'm going to give you my email address at the end. The first 10 shops that email to us will get a free copy of that. That has a $50 value, but that's an hour-long workshop that gets into this in much greater detail. But the takeaway for number one, make sure, especially if you happen to be in one of those states that shut down and you can't do any deliveries or you can't help customers with curbside pickup, at least you can still send orders out of town for them. Number two, let's talk about the idea of selling the add-ons, selling the balloons, the teddy bears, the chocolates, the soy candles, the greeting cards, whatever you have. Customers love these add-on items. It's easy money for you. It's a simple way for the customer to personalize the sale. And in terms of the language, get past that clunky, silly, old-fashioned flower shop approach of asking a customer, do you need anything else? Like what, curly fries? No, advise them. Give them your professional advice. Say to them, I can attach a Mother's Day balloon for just X dollars. We can include or attach a box of our delicious locally made truffles. It's just Y dollars. They can't buy it if you don't offer to them. For the record, because I've been dealing with this for decades, it's not you being pushy. It's not you being aggressive. To the contrary, it's you giving really, really good customer service. And here's the proof I have of it. Anybody on this webinar today or listening to it afterwards will have the same results. If you take a look at how much or how often your customers, when they shop online, click the box and order the balloon, the teddy bear, the box of chocolates versus when they call the store or they come in. And it's usually about a 25% differential, meaning your customers will buy it if it's offered to them. And I do understand those of you lucky enough to be on the Flower Shop Network platform for your website, it's easier now than ever to be able to show your customers pictures of those additional items. So we'll talk more about the technical part later, but make sure you're availing yourself of that and literally giving customers a chance to spend more money. On a side note, I've got scripting for this. I'm just brushing over the top of it here in that light green box on the right, but I've got detailed scripting for this. Again, email me and we will send you a copy. Okay, moving right along. Number 3, sell more open orders. It is ultimately better for you, and it's better if you're sending that order out of town. I've been on the phone all this week working for one of my big customers. It's People's Flowers in Albuquerque, New Mexico. They're the biggest flower shop in the state. Legally, they can only have so many people in the store, but their phones are ringing off the hook. So I'm answering phones here remotely, and I can tell you, sitting in my apartment in New York City, I don't know what they have in their cooler, but I'm selling open orders, and it's worked like a charm, and you can do it as well. And customers are very sympathetic to our plight. I'm explaining to them that in light of the disruptions to the supply chain right now, we have limited selections, but I reassure them that what we'll be sending in this case, for Administrative Professionals Day tomorrow, that we're sending a beautiful arrangement of our best garden flowers in spring colors. Everybody loves it. Everybody's been accommodating, and that makes it so much easier for you to not get bogged down on selling specifics off the website, and it makes it very easy as well if you're sending that order out of town for that to be filled by that florist on the other end. Less is more. On a side note, we've got some language on this as well beyond what you see here, and we'll share that with you too, to make it very easy for the customer to get his or her head around the idea that it's not going to be an ABC 1, 2, 3 off your website, but they have to trust you and that their order is in good hands. All right, 3 down, 2 to go. The next item that I'd recommend, or way that you can impact your holiday, is literally to go big. And I mentioned that we have nearly 700 Flower Shop Network members who have already gone through our full training program, which, by the way, is 2.5 hours. It's not a quickie 15-minute drive-by like this, but what they all report, whether they are in a big city or a small town, whether it's a staff of 2 or 22, is that their average sale goes up by 25%. So believe it or not, your customers are prepared to and will spend 25% more. And we've talked about the current situation, that there is this cloud, if you will, sometimes hanging over flower shops, feeling like, oh, if somebody's calling in right now, they may not have a job, and don't overthink it. Trust me, if somebody is in such a bad state that they can't pay their bills, they're not ordering flowers. When people call, especially for Mother's Day, and I fall exactly into this category, I cannot go and spend Mother's Day with my mom because of her age and the fact that she's an hour away in Connecticut, and for health reasons, I'm not going to go there, but I'm glad that I can call my flower shop in Connecticut and get some flowers sent, and I absolutely will spend more than I normally would have. So my guideline is simple. Offer an arrangement, call it the wow design or the love you so much, or come up with a clever name, price it at about 25% higher than what you normally will sell, because you do it at Valentine's Day. You're always amazed at how customers will buy the 2 or 3 dozen roses at Mother's Day. Same dynamic here. Offer this on the phone, offer it on your website, in your cooler as well, and it will sell. My final point is, as a side note, we do have some additional pricing guidelines that we'll share with you, some metrics to make it easy for you to come up with these numbers and how to design it. Because sometimes there's this fear of, well, what's a $150 range going to look like? Is it going to be 3 feet tall? It doesn't have to be, trust me. My final point is, everybody's at home. Capitalize on that. Make reminder calls. Call people and remind them that they ordered from you last year for Mother's Day. This is not telemarketing. I hear this all the time. Oh, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to bother people. This is amazing customer service. We talk all the time about, oh, the grocery store is our competition. The order gatherer is our enemy. They're not doing this, but you can be, and this is another way for you to differentiate yourself from those other places that are selling flowers. On a side note, we have a script, a very, very powerful script that I have been using personally since I began doing these calls, making these calls 27 years ago. Customers love the attention. Again, think about the silver lining to our current situation. You're going to be able to get people at home. You can have a nice, comfortable conversation. Avail yourself to them that you've got the ability to send flowers locally, if you can do that legally, or elsewhere by virtue of your Flower Shop Network membership, and just make some more money. Okay, believe it or not, we're at 15 minutes. I'm going to come up for air. But what I want to do is give you a chance to see if you have any questions or any comments. So if you have, if you want to type in a question or a comment, you can do that in the chat box, and Don will read those. If you know for a fact that there is a microphone on your computer, or if you dialed in by phone, meaning that you can talk and we can hear you, if you click on the little icon next to your hand, you can raise your hand, talk to me directly, and share your thoughts, share your opinion, share your feedback. So Don, I know we got a big, massive list to scroll through, but do we have any questions or comments that were typed in?
Yeah, I have one hand raised that I'm trying to find.
Okay.
One question.
Okie dokie.
Jody wants to know, when should we start calling past customers about this year's Mother's Day orders?
Okay, what I would recommend is that you start calling them soon, for the simple reason we've got these kind of mitigating factors, the supply chain, and so the sooner the better. And again, you've got people at home. One less thing for them to worry about. I would say let's get over tomorrow's holiday, and then by all means roll up your sleeve and start calling them as early as Thursday or Friday. What else, Don?
Would you recommend paring down your website and offering only a few selections for Mother's Day?
$64,000 question. I will tell you this, full disclosure, I am not a website guru. Cindy, if you want to jump in and unmute yourself, and if you want to talk to that, if you can, I do know that if you start to swap images and take images down, it does impact your the traffic coming to your website. So you may not want to do that, and instead kind of have a disclaimer that we have a limited selection right now, and maybe emphasize the designer's choice option. That's what I would recommend.
How about
this is Cindy with FSN, and we do not recommend that you turn off any of your pages. We do have options and images for you to use of the designer's choice. We are really promoting and pushing that. We have banners for that. But yes, you don't want to turn off complete pages, but you have the control to limit the number of arrangements that you do display on any page.
Okay, good. Yeah, and the thing is, you don't want to do something that's going to theoretically help you now and then hurt you once we're back up and running. Any other questions, Don? Thank you, Cindy. You can mute yourself again.
Scrolling through them right now.
Okay.
How about texting customers instead of a phone call? I always send photos of arrangements to out-of-town customers. Do you think a photo and a text might be a good idea? From Allison.
So the text message, I would say, what we want to do is we want to get ready for this new chapter in the retail floral industry, and I'm going to talk about this momentarily. And one of the ways that every retail flower shop can differentiate themselves is with service, and I strongly believe that a phone call is much more personal and engaging. Our industry is all about emotions, and under different circumstances, and we can talk about it on a future webinar. Yes, I think the idea of being able to text people on the fly to remind them about a birthday or an anniversary, but I think you can have some interesting, really heartfelt conversations with customers talking about how much they're missing being able to see their mother or their grandmother at the holiday. So my short answer is no. Capitalize on the fact that you're going to be able to reach them. Call them. I'm gonna keep talking, Don, and you can maybe gather some questions. What I want to share with everybody is a couple of things. First of all, I mentioned on a couple of these points that you can reach out to me. There's my email address. There's my direct phone number. You can call us. You can text us. make sure that you do check in with Flower Shop Network and that you're availing yourself of all of the tools and all of the services and all of the support that your membership brings. And for those of you that are really business minded, really proactive, we have an exciting program that we launched, meaning Floral Strategies, my company, and it's called the Florist Bounce Back Program. Very briefly, we are 100% sure that it's not going to be business as usual when things open up. On a very practical level, I think people want to go and get their hair cut and colored and get their nails done and get caught up on bills and go bowling and go to the gym before they want to come buying flowers. So I think we're going to have to rethink how we market and promote ourselves. We're going to have to hustle a little bit to make up for lost time. And as we're heading into what is in the best of years, a slow period, the summer, we want to be one step ahead. So we'll send you information on it, but we essentially have 6 more live weekly webinars. They last an hour, so I don't talk as fast as I'm talking now. Members get about $2,000 worth of free merchandise. Because I've been in the industry for so long and I'm so well connected, I was able to go to some powerhouses like Syndicate Sales and various growers in Ecuador and chocolate suppliers and Floracraft and Acme Tools and say, give us some freebies to help our retail florists bounce back to business. And yes, we've got over $2,000 in free merchandise and services lined up for you. And what it comes down to is, like I said at the beginning of the workshop, I'm like you. I'm a small independent company. And you're struggling to get through this. We want to make sure that we're going to be here as well. So the nominal fee that we charge for registration actually helps you, and it helps us. Okay, Don, before we wrap it up, any other questions or comments?
I'm not seeing any. One person is saying, we may go into a summer where we have lots of memorials or delayed funerals, so to speak.
True.
So that is all they're sad that, and that, we might.
Yeah, no, that's something we're talking about in the Bounce Back program. But I'm also looking at it very practically in the sense that for the most part, we lost proms. And I know that there are lots of flower shops that do tons of business with proms. That's in the rearview mirror. You're not going to get that back. Equally unfortunate, we had so many weddings get canceled or postponed. You may get those back in dribs and drabs, but we want to get proactive. We want to get feet back in your store. We want to get the phones ringing. We want to basically fight against the inevitable summer slump. So again, in addition to all the free product and services, we've got some clever ideas. We brought in some industry experts to help us through this. So we're going to wrap it up here. We promise this will be short and sweet. Thank you again, everybody, for your time, for your participation. Reach out to us. We want to work with you. We want to help you. We want to give you resources and tools. We're going to be in touch with you, both with the recording, and we'll actually reach out to you personally. Don and I will reach out to you personally, fill you in on what we're doing, and get you into some of our programs. So thank you again to the good people at Flower Shop Network for bringing us together. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.